welcome to episode 86 of Tell It Right. We are the podcast that never quits. I am Mike. This is Jared. We are your hosts. First time listeners, hit that subscribe button. Long time listeners, thank you for your support. Happy fucking Halloween, everybody. Woo!
It's the Ween of Hollow.
The Ween of Hollows. The spirits are flying.
Yeah.
Don't fucking yawn.
They got their wieners out.
Yeah.
That's why it's Halloween.
Halloween. The ghosts stick their peens in your mouth. I thought I could make that rhyme, but I couldn't. That was terrible.
No.
That is some terrible rhyming right there.
Well, can't all be poets. You know.
It's actually called illiteracy, is what it's called. So, but fucking A, dude, yeah, man. So what is this? Our third Halloween here. So in the past, we've talked about trunk or treat to haunted places. We've even gone to haunted places ourselves here. Yeah, dude, we did the Bachelor's Grove last year. So nothing weird happened there.
No. The fact that there was that many people there, like just in the middle of the day,
yeah,
it was just kind of weird.
Well, I just remember in high school, I can't remember if in high school if you were actually allowed during the day. I just always heard you were banned from going, like nobody could go there. Like if you tried, the cops went after you. But I think the truth was you couldn't go there at night. That's just all it was. Otherwise, it was an open park during the day.
yeah.
Literally. But yeah. What the fuck was it? We also talked about that Bodie place out there in the Sierra Nevadas in California. That was a fucking wild one where it just basically it was the guy that was he was trying to gold mine. His name was Bodie, and I guess it was just like a whole greedy thing where people were trying to backstab each other, and like a big fucking storm came and they froze to death, and like they say his spirit like curses the land, and so like it was a boom town that died out, but it's been like preserved in like the Sierra Nevada mountains. Like the buildings are still like standing, and like maybe there was broken windows. Other than that, everything was still in pristine condition because it was such a I don't know. I know like the winters can be nasty, but apparently everything was preserved. It was pretty fucking wild. But then like also the state does trying to remodel and preserve it as well because there were like dilapidated buildings. But other than that, like that town was pretty fucking much like left in place as it was abandoned.
When you say Bodie, you mean like Bodie like from Point Break?
Yeah, I think Bodie.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Bodie Town is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never take anything there. You'll be haunted because Bodie is one greedy motherfucker and he does not want to share his treasure with anybody. So there was that, and then this year when I went to Arizona, I went to Jerome. That's another fucking weird place. Another haunted ghost town. But it's a town that's redeveloping.
Jerome.
Yeah, Jerome is a place where people are actually living and whatnot. It was an old mining town. It's like up in the mountains. Very remote place, compared to where it was at the time. Just a very nasty place, though. Like, pretty much you didn't have a long life expectancy if you were living there. You were a minor. You probably got drunk every night, and if you lived, you lived. Otherwise, you probably got shot, or you died of alcohol poisoning, or you died of some accident on the job, or whatever. But, like, this was a town of, like, 15,000 people back in, like, the mid to late 1800s, and once it dried up, and everybody dispersed, and it became a ghost town. But what's creepy about that place is people that died, they had nowhere to put them, so they cremated them and made them into concrete. So
I mean, that makes sense.
yeah, so the spirit of Jerome, or the spirits of Jerome, are within the sidewalks and the stairs, the concrete stairs that go up and down the hillsides. So it's a weird thing, but hey, what's his name? Maynard Keaton, whatever from Tool owns a fucking winery out there. So
I mean, I'm pretty positive, and this is going off of a complete factual representation from playing the game The Oregon Trail. I'm pretty
okay,
sure that everybody pre like 1905 died of dysentery. Like no matter
probably.
what, no matter what it was, even if they died by gunshot, it was dysentery.
Even if they had diabetes, it was
Yeah,
dysentery.
exactly. They all just had dysentery. I mean that's the only thing I've ever learned from playing the
Oregon
Oregon
Trail.
Trail. Yeah.
Yeah,
So or they drowned. You know how many people drowned in shallow water like back in the day? Like
I'm
a
sure a lot.
ridiculous amount of people. Like there was
They were probably
I
playing
forgot what it was.
chicken.
It was no, it was like over in Shanahan. Uh, there's like this bunch of people that died in a river, and the river was only like 3 or 5 feet deep, but people couldn't swim.
And they just got sucked by the river.
I guess, but like,
Stand up! I
yeah,
can't
just
swim.
yeah,
Stand up!
yeah. But even if they drowned, they had dysentery. So
Cause
from the
of death?
water.
Dysentery. But I seriously saw him drown. He drowned, sir. No, he died of
No,
dysentery.
he shit himself to
he
death, and he
shit
did not
himself.
have enough. He did not have enough strength to swim. So the root cause of this was dysentery.
Sir, he had no hands. He could not swim. Couldn't even use it. He had no hands and no legs. Couldn't swim. Poor
I mean, it's
guy.
so weird, like haunted
Yeah.
places. Like, why do we as people think if somebody died somewhere that it's automatically a haunted place?
Well, it's not necessarily that. It's like there has to be like some kind of account that multiple people have witnessed some kind of weird thing at
Like
one time.
tragedy type stuff.
Well, no, I mean like so. For instance, let's say AB or yeah, let's say this building, whatever it is haunted, right? So how do we determine it was haunted? Well, we determined it was haunted because there were people that were within the building that report seeing something,
Hmm.
hearing something, feeling something, or whatever, and it just like there's consistent reports of these similar things. So yeah, it's not that, and then that's when people start doing research and find out, okay, so somebody did die, back 100 years ago or 50 years ago or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
um, and whatnot. So I don't think it's necessarily because it's somebody died in there, it's haunted. I mean, I think it's when people start seeing these weird things, whether or not it's ghosts or not. That's when, okay, as a human, you got to start trying to investigate and put things together. Well, once you start seeing, okay, so somebody died, a lot of people believe there's a spirit after you die, right? Most religions
Hmm.
believe that when you die, there's a spirit that leaves your body. So that's kind of that's what I think the what do you call it, the premises of figuring out why something's haunted,
Because
or
I mean,
why
if that's the
people determine
case,
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
think of like then a bunch of like old people's folks' homes and shit like that. Like those would have to be haunted, and like and
Right.
like hospitals and shit. Like,
Well, hospitals are. I mean, yeah, there's people that report hospitals that are haunted and stuff. I don't know any particular off the top of my head, but like 13th floor. Remember, I think we were talking about that a few podcast episodes about how there's never a 13th floor because it's bad luck and all this shit.
it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing because then they skip and go to the 14th floor, which is the 13th floor.
Yeah.
Just because you don't call it the 13th floor does not mean that it isn't.
Now, I'm not a ghost expert, really. I used to get into this stuff back in the day, but like I don't understand exactly how it works. Like, is it like, yeah, maybe is it like in a hospital if it's kind of like a peaceful place, anyways, or if it was like a peaceful way of dying? I guess, like, actually, I guess if you base it on many movies, crossing them all together, it's basically like, obviously, if you die peacefully, you kind of move on. But it's when you don't die peacefully, you're kind of stuck. Now, if we base it off the Swayze movie Ghost, I mean, Swayze was able to go wherever the fuck you wanted,
Yeah.
right? So, but then there's other movies where it's like, no, you're stuck. You're stuck at the place where you violently died. You know what I mean? So,
the unfinished business ghost.
Yeah.
Like from Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
It was like you have to make it so it has unfinished business, but then the unfinished business is it never remembered that gravity existed, so it fell through floors.
Hilarious. That's the one. That's the second story train one, right? The one where there's all those other like weird superhero type things.
I don't think it's that one. I don't remember offhand now.
Yeah, wasn't it like? Yeah, it was the one where Story Lord comes back with Jesus.
Oh.
And then like, or was it the one? Oh no, maybe it was the one where Pissmaster comes. Because isn't there a bunch of people that start coming after like Rick out of nowhere?
Yeah.
And then finally Pissmaster comes, and then Jerry's the one that fucking handles that one. But I thought like, yeah, like Rick lets out that fucking crazy ass guy, and then he's the one that takes away the gravity, and then the dude continuously falls to his death or whatever.
I don't think so. I thought it was a different.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Fucking A. Yeah, I don't know what exactly. Like I said, I'm not really into the ghost stuff anymore. I mean, like, I guess I did invest in some. See, like ghost hunting and UFO hunting can kind of be similar in the fact that like you're looking for like electronic frequency.
Oh no, it's the Mr. Poopy Butthole one where they're trying to get him out of the house.
Oh, really?
In season 7, it's like, yeah, Mr. Poopy Butthole. And Gene's friends with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, no, I know which one you're talking about there.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna go take a huge Jackman in the bathroom.
no, but yeah, back to the whole ghost thing. Like, yeah, I don't know. Everybody has their own take on it, and that's kind of why I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's real. What if it's just interdimensional? That's like why, yeah, I have that like theory about like ghosts might just be interdimensional, like multiverse versions of things. So things from subtle universes in the past, just like projecting through a tear in the fabric of space and time. So like, those crackpots that say they see like a fucking Indian walking through their house. Maybe
naked.
Yeah, even naked or whatever. But yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, what if that could be the explanation for that. It's just like it's not there. It's not haunting you. You just happen to be at the right angle where there's a tear in the fabric of the space and time, and this thing is in a different dimension, and it's just walking through like it's a Star Wars hologram. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But then people report like I don't know. I see shit on like TikTok all the time, but I can't believe it because like how easy is it to like fucking oh yeah, it's on video, huh? How many times did you could have just elaborately put that together just to convince anybody that you have like some kind of poltergeist thing going on in your house where shit's flickering and all that. Like, get out of town. It's not. I don't know. It's just it's like hard to prove. That's the one that's hard to prove too. I mean, even the UFO thing is, especially with AI now. I mean, everybody's putting like shit out. Some shit's really obvious, and then some shit's not until like the end of the video, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, I don't know, man. It's pretty fucking wild, dude.
Yeah. I mean, ghosts are weird. I mean, it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, the weird thing is like, ghosts are one of those things that a lot of people believe. It's almost like UFOs and stuff. Like, nobody has like firm proof, but you see shit all the time that you're like, that probably is real. You know what I mean? Like, but nobody has like, I don't know, firm proof.
Right. No, you're right. I don't know, like, how can you prove this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta, like, trap them. Yeah. And if they're not, like, fucking, like, tangible, then I don't know how you can fucking trap it.
But again, I mean, it's not even so much that, like, so we think of, like, ghosts as, souls and all this and that, but, I mean, really, if you want to, like, do a scientific aspect of it, like, I think of it kind of like what you're saying. It's a transfer of energy into a different dimension. It's still you or that person, but they're in, like, maybe the fifth dimension or something, or it's still part of the universe, but it's just...
Well, like, I don't even think they're aware of you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not aware of you. You're aware of it. Mm-hmm. And, like, you can't really, like, interact with it. You're just you're objectively observing it, Yeah. And if you went up to it, you'd go through it, I don't know. That would be pretty wild, though. Like,
oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I've never seen a ghost. Like, so back to Bachelor's Grove. I mean, when I went there in high school, there was some weird shit that happened, but, like, nothing I could, like, prove, Yeah. I mean, things were, like, whizzing around, like, I don't know if it was I can't remember if it was a cicada year. So maybe it was cicadas whizzing around our heads, while we were back there. Well, I guess cicadas do come out every year, so...
Yeah.
But I don't know if they come out in October. The late one.
There's bats.
Right, it could have been bats, could have just been birds, I don't know. Yeah. But, like, people reported at Bachelor's Grove that they've seen, like, this, like, cabin appear, like, back in the woods. I never saw that. I never saw any, like, aberration, as they call it, as the cool kids call it, the aberrations.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I had an experience that I don't know if it was real. Maybe I was just dreaming. Because I remember it.
Yeah.
But it was a long time ago. And I think people were just messing with me.
Yeah, right. And that's what I thought too. Like, I thought, like, maybe somebody was clever enough to go out there and do things to kind of try to scare people, just to have fun. Maybe someone did invest in, like, night vision goggles. the same time, that's kind of creepy though too. Like, what if that's what they did? Yeah, they had night vision goggles, and then they were just taking an airsoft gun and just shooting it. Just
Who has
shooting
time for
pellets.
that though?
What's that?
Who has time to do that type of shit though?
I don't know.
Like,
Maybe that's what the Cook County Forest Preserve, like, maybe that was like their idea of trying to keep people out there. So
was the
they
scare
put like they had someone volunteer that's like an ex sniper or something, like, here, take this fucking airsoft gun, go out there. When kids start walking past this point, just start shooting across their noses, make them turn around.
I said across the nose, not up it.
Yeah, but no, I mean, yeah, I don't know. When I went to Western Illinois, there we did a ghost tour too, and so that one was like we went to different places around their downtown area, because that's like an old time, you know, small town country square, or
Mm-hmm.
community square sort of thing. So like there's a bunch of old buildings, and there's some weird shit. I mean, like, I brought a compass with, because and that was the first time I did witness like the compass spin around. But I didn't have video of that because I didn't have a good phone back then. Like, I didn't have an iPhone until after I got out of college, so like 2012.
Yeah.
So I had nothing really good to record with. We did take pictures with like a digital camera that we did have, and there was some weird stuff in that. I should have went back to try to find this stuff, but I don't know exactly where it's saved. Then there was this one part where like we were looking at a doorway, and it was kind of dark on our side, but like on the other side of the doorway it had one light on, and it was like it appeared that somebody was walking back and forth between the door, and that was really weird. But they
Mm-hmm.
did open the door and let us go in there, and we did see there was nobody in there. So that was another weird thing too. But like, I still feel like there was room for illusions here, because they had the places all stoked, reserved for us. I mean, they had to get permission to come into these places. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was that was a weird tour, but it was a cool, fun experience for being in college, though. You know,
Yeah.
but I can't go walk away from it believing ghosts. Just a lot of creepy things. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for sure, for sure, man. Well, fucking a, dude. What was I gonna say? So this year, I figure let's just do a fucking movie thon. And so, like, basically what I mean by that is we're just gonna talk about our top Halloween movies, what to watch for the year. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Yeah.
So what you got? What's your first number one?
So my number one, like, probably favorite Halloween movie right now, I'd have to go with the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween.
Yeah, I
So
can't remember if I saw that one. I know I definitely saw the Rob Zombies where he depicts the Manson families.
that's the House of a Thousand Corpses, I think.
Yeah, I've seen those. So, oh, maybe I did see it, but I don't know. This sounds
So
interesting though.
yeah, so what I like about it is it's got a little bit more of a precursor to the beginning. So like remember in the original Halloween, it's like it starts out he's a kid and he's like his sister's babysitting him or whatever, and he like
Yeah,
stabs
right,
her, whatever. So
right.
this takes it a step further or a step back a little bit to the that day that it happened, and then it takes it a little bit further past that day while he's in like a mental ward. So it
Ah,
kind of gives him a little bit of character development, which we all know that character development kind of ruins it. But at the same time, it actually did a really good job of telling the
yeah.
story. So like it starts out like the day of, and he's like in a really abusive family, his stepdad or whoever, and his mom's a stripper, and they're just in this really shitty house, and so like he's already got issues, and he goes into school, and there's bullies and this and that, and he ends up like following his bully home and like beating him to death with a stick, like near a creek, and then comes home and it's Halloween, and he dresses up and goes trick or treating or whatnot, and then kills everybody else in the family too. He killed the stepdad, or his sister's boyfriend, and the sister, and he just left the one daughter, the baby, alive. And then the mom comes home and finds all these dead people. And then it goes into like Loomis, who is his doctor and the guy in the original movie that was like after him. He goes about how he was treating him as a kid and all this and that, and like how he was trying to help him, and he actually ends up killing a nurse in the movie, and like how he developed his like wanting to wear masks and stuff all the time. And he was like making masks in the mental ward.
Yes. Okay. I think I did see this one. Yes.
Yeah. So
there was a lot of humanistic parts to him. Like there was like you feel bad for him, and like you kind of want him to pull through here.
Yeah, but then you watch him turn into a monster.
Yeah.
And what's his face from Machete? Danny Trejo. He's like his caretaker, like the janitor guy.
Yeah.
And then he kills him, and like, yeah. So I think that, like, not only the gore but the storytelling in that, I think he did a fantastic, for a remake. It was a really, really good one, and it's just a good all-around movie for like a scary movie. So
yeah,
that's my number one.
Okay.
So,
You ready to hear my number one?
Yeah, let's hear it.
This is gonna fucking blow your fucking mind. It's gonna blow your fucking mind. All right, and I want you to hear me out when I say this, because this is gonna spark a fucking controversy here. What I'm about to say.
Let's hear it.
Blair Witch Project.
Oh God.
Hear me. So.
All right, I'm hearing it.
This is my favorite, okay, because I watched it last night.
Yeah.
I saw this when I was a kid, too, when it first came out in 99 or whenever. And back then, I was terrified of it. I thought it was real, because did I pay attention to the news? No. I just bought into the fucking aggressive marketing that made you feel like it was a real fucking movie. And I was, like, scared. Anyways. I think it's a terrible horror movie, actually. It is a terrible horror movie, to be honest. And the reason for it is it's just like there's just a terrible story of like how they get there, and it's just like, I don't know, you don't see anything happen, okay?
No.
But I think it's a clever, game-changing movie, because nobody ever did this at this time. Nobody ever made a movie like this unless you were in fucking high school. You know what I mean? And you're showing your class. Like, somebody made a fucking national motion picture that went out into, like, every movie theater just with B-roll cameras. Yeah. And I think it's set, like, I think it, like, kind of maybe, like, I think it's a game changer, because I think it was just, like, it was an idea. It was like, fuck it, let's try it. Let's see how it happens. It became a cult classic, but like by far is not a good movie. But like, I think it's inspired things like to do this kind of reality-like footage. Yeah. Maybe not make a whole fucking movie like that, but like, I don't know, wasn't Cloverfield or something like that?
Cloverfield was kind of in that type of...
Right. Where it was like somebody had like a camera, but then there was like an objective camera that like, was you the audience just watching them, and not really, it wasn't like there was a character in the movie holding that camera. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, so in that genre, another one that's kind of like that actually was pretty good was Paranormal Activity. That was pretty creepy.
So that was
like
So that was set up like a documentary.
Kind of, sort of. It was like people were having stuff going on at their house. So it was first person type viewing of like people trying to document stuff happening in their house. And like things would move and shit. And it was actually a pretty
Yeah.
creepy movie.
So I mean, it was the whole movie like through the perspective of a
Yeah.
camcorder.
It was like it's like if you had a camcorder at your house and you were trying to catch like stuff
Yeah.
happening. Or like
But there
if
was
they had
never
it
like
set
a.
up like watching them sleep and stuff to see what would happen and stuff.
But there was never like a cinematic camera on the outside that was like watching like the setup. Or okay.
No.
Okay.
So it was that. I don't even know what type of filming you call that, but I'd say it's like almost
Reality.
first person. Yeah, I guess more like
First person. Yeah, reality filming, selfie filming. Yeah. No.
Now both of those movies, both Paranormal Activity and the Blair Witch Project's sequels or sequel movies, were all trash.
And they were more on the cinematic side, though.
The second one of Blair Witch was cinematic. The third one was a weird one that was trying to kind of do a callback to the first.
Yeah.
And then it just got way out of control, like where they took it. Like they were in like a house in the woods and there was aliens and stuff. And like, it was just, that was just a dumb one. But yeah, I can agree. I mean, what they did was very innovative in that.
Right.
And it did work. It worked for what they were trying to pull off, and they did a good job.
That's why it's getting my number one here for that. Because like I'm sitting here watching it because like spoiler alert. At the end there, it was he runs downstairs, he jumps through the floorboard into the basement, and then all of a sudden you just hear him get knocked over the head, and the camera falls.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, she comes running down crying and then jumps down and she gets knocked in the head and it's over. It was like, too, it was very dramatic the way it ended. There was like nothing after that. It just ended and it was, actually I watched it on Peacock, so it might have been edited. Never mind.
No, it did just end like that.
Yeah. Like, it was really over dramatic. And then, too, like, I think for people that would have been out in the field for that long, like out in the woods that long, I think they would have been in worse shape. Like, they looked pretty well rested. Like, the chick had some bags under her eyes, but, like, I don't know. I think they would have just looked sickly like, and they didn't really look like that. But
see, I'm a sucker for the slasher movies. I just think that is kind of the epitome of scary movies. Like the Friday the 13th, and I mean, again, some of the newer ones like the Blair Witch Project and stuff like that, like they did take it to a different level because they had to figure out something different that wasn't just the same. You know what I mean? It wasn't just here comes a guy with a knife and he's gonna stab me, and then here's another one, and here's a boob shot, and then here's another one. But that was like the basic layout of a slasher film.
Yeah.
Killing people, whatever reason you need to kill people, couples trying to do it in the woods or wherever, nudity, and more killing. So,
absolutely.
But if that's your first, what's your second?
Oh, my second?
Yeah, what's your second?
Which is really like my first, but yeah, my second, not really. Just this year because I've dove into some new movies here. So Bram Stoker's Dracula was one that I watched here this year. I watched it because of Megapolis, so I wanted to try to understand Francis Ford Coppola because that Megalopolis was a terrible movie that I didn't really understand, and I wanted to see if I could, gain some understanding, which I felt like a little bit after seeing Dracula, just kind of seeing how he did some of those scenes, like how he could show a past scene and stuff like that. Like, I guess what I mean by like a past scene, like, from like when he's thinking about the past, when he's in the past or something like that, when it's
Mm-hmm.
like a dream state almost. And it's like a little Tim Burton-ish, and then it kind of gets really up close, and I don't know. It's not like Tim Burton-ish where it's like that weird cartoony like, but it's like kind of is, and then all of a sudden it's this more live action, um,
Yeah.
more realistic setting. But yeah, I thought it was a good story. I mean, between what do you call it, Winona Ryder, and then why can't I think of his name? I do have it pulled up here.
Keanu
Gary
Reeves.
Oldman. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you'll lose control, and then you'll just kill somebody while sucking their blood, and then you'll fully become a vampire. But
Mm-hmm.
I think there's ways around it where, well, because he did like all the taxidermy stuff, so he had all those dead animals, like avid hunter, right? But like some of the craziest things. So there's a theory that he was, yeah, stealing their bloods and stuff, like those animals, just drinking like killing the animals and living off the blood and being like a half vamp, and then like yeah, he would still age at that point. But it's just some of that fan shit, some of that
Yeah.
fan dreams.
I think that's far fetched, but maybe I'll have to rewatch it again and kind of think of on that.
Yeah.
So,
What do you got next?
um, I mean, I was gonna go with another horror, but you know what? I'm gonna hit you with one of my favorites, which it's not. It's a Halloween movie, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't particularly find it scary, but the movie Scream. I
Okay.
have to watch that movie every Halloween time period.
I
There's
haven't
just
seen
something
it in
about it.
years. Yeah.
There's something about it. I mean, part of it too is, I mean, growing up watching that when I was younger and had a huge crush on Nev Campbell, which was like just smoking hot back in the day.
Wasn't Shannon in there? Doherty too? Doherty?
No,
No, probably
no.
not.
Matthew Lillard was in it. We got to see
So
him.
wasn't
Uh,
Freddie Prince?
no.
Oh, I'm just making up names now.
Yeah. Jamie Kennedy was in it. A
what
couple
was
other.
the movie where the guy did Jamie Kennedy also play in that other movie, that spoof movie? Remember where the Officer Doofy and he walks out of the station like he's Doofy, but then as he's
Yeah,
walking he's just ripping clothes off, and then he starts walking like a normal person and
yeah, because he's
has like a
pretending to be an
mustache,
idiot.
and yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the name. I know which.
Well, not like,
What is that?
isn't it like
What is a Scream parody?
it was
Scary movie. Scary movie
yeah,
with Anna Faris.
right. And then that was like
Yeah,
one where Charlie Sheen got real popular too, with like it was a big deal that he was in that movie, or one of them at least.
yeah, he was in one of those.
It was like one of the selling points of the movie was Charlie Sheen's fucking in this.
I think he was in like one of
Was
the
that the
seconds
movie
or something.
too, where at the end they have sex and the chick like explodes,
Yeah,
and then like the dude's like stuck on the ceiling or whatever?
yeah. And
Yeah,
then
that's
that's also,
gross.
well, the second one is with Chris Elliott, who's got Grandma Strong hand.
Oh my god.
But I mean, so that even tells you even more um, that Scream was such an influential movie. You know what? I never realized that Danny Masterson had a brother, Christopher.
Really?
Yeah, he's in a bunch of movies too. Or he
I
was
wonder.
the
I wonder if
brother
he's.
on Malcolm in the Middle.
No shit. You're
Yeah.
right. I think I knew this at one time and forgot. This because it's starting to make sense now. Oh, dude, he's the good brother. Unless he's a Scientologist. If he's a Scientologist, I can't fucking trust him.
Oh, let's see.
Let's see. Personal life, Scientologist. No, it doesn't say anything in his Wikipedia. God, Francis. Yeah, he played Francis. Francis motherfucking Francis.
It's weird.
Francis? What was that in Deadpool? He's like, I'm looking for Francis.
Let's see. Is he a Scientologist?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the $1 million
Yeah,
crest.
he is. Like his brother, he is a follower of Scientology.
Oh God, you poor souls.
They got him, man.
You're just giving. You know what? Like that's the thing about Hollywood, man. You're either fucking Scientologist, like pretty much slave to giving all your money away to them,
Or you're an atheist?
or no, or you're getting fucking sexually abused to get your fucking roles.
Well, you're doing that in Scientology too, though.
Yeah. What the fuck? No, that's what I'm starting to realize. Like, there's got to be a new wave for entertainment. Like, there's got to like people like us got to step up and create this like this new society where people don't sexually abuse each other to for power and stuff. Like Hollywood is. Like, I am now convinced that 100% of everybody that is now like a famous actor had to do something to get there. You know what I mean? Like that's just not right. Like
Well, it's
got
like they somehow infiltrated that genre, like Hollywood somehow, and just made a bunch of
honestly,
pedophiles
dude,
and weirdos.
I think it's been going on since the silent film era. You know, and it's just like, oh, you really want to do this? You're a chick. You want to do this? Fine. Like I bet you Drew Barrymore's like great grandmother or whatever. Like you know how like the Barrymores were like fucking like huge silent films slash like you know like basically from the 30s.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
they sold Drew Barrymore though to Hollywood because I mean she was going to clubs. She was at like Studio 54,
I know
like
that's
hanging out with adults and shit, dude. It
but
was
like
fucking
that's what I'm saying. Like you know, it's just like it's all part of the game. It's like yeah, don't worry. It doesn't matter if you're a guy and you suck some dude off. You're gonna be rich and famous. You know, like that's the
yeah,
Diddy way. You know, I guess it's like coming out like Diddy and like Jay Z or like that. You know, like they're bisexual, and it's just like holy shit, what's going on here? Just corruption
yeah.
after corruption, and it's just yeah, dude. I'm just convinced that like you know, well, because that's the other thing. Then you find out like dude, when I was a kid. And I saw the Backstreet Boys like in like the MTVs and all that shit, and on all the magazines and all that. I sat there thinking to myself that those those fag boy looking dudes are rich as fuck. And you
Hmm.
know what the truth was? They weren't. They were like
Yeah.
probably no had no more money in their pockets than I did. And they were just being fed little scraps while this fucking weirdo guy was just profiting off of them. They were making millions of dollars, but they weren't getting millions of dollars. They were getting like I think there was a check at one point for 10,000, and that's when they had to go to court, and like that's when they ended up like those two bands got their fucking the rights to their music and all that shit.
Hmm.
So I don't know. That's just fucking Hollywood, dude.
I mean, not to get even further into it, but I mean, just think of it this way: the time frame that you're talking about, when the silent film era, which was what 1920 to 30s, somewhere around there.
Yeah, or
It's
19,
20,
maybe even 1900. I don't know.
but there was a large migration of certain people from Europe that started taking over the film industry around that time period. And then all this started happening.
Well, regardless, it's just like, I guess it just, in today's age, we're finding out people with power and money are doing some weird fucking shit.
I mean,
And
I'm
you
just
got to sit
saying.
here and think that, no, I'm just sitting here that back in the day it was happening. It was even happening even long before then. Like,
Yeah.
it's been going on since the Romans and the Greeks, the fucking Egyptians, the fucking Icewallians. Since
But
all
I
of
mean,
them.
when the two largest major ones that have been contributing to this are taken down, and their last name are Epstein and
Yeah,
Weinstein, doesn't
right.
really look good when there's a large percentage of a certain population that are in control of that type of genre.
Yeah. Well, I'm
So
going to tell you
I'm
what.
not saying. I mean,
Well, here's
which
what
if
I'm
they
going to
are in
tell you.
charge of that, if they are in charge of that, there's a large population of it. Then obviously, the percentage of them that it could happen to be them is higher than too. You
After
know.
watching that Corey Feldman thing on the Howard Stern Club Howie,
Hmm.
like, I'm convinced that Howard Stern's got to be on a list.
Um,
So everybody, I sent Jared a video of Corey Feldman playing on some 90s Howard Stern show called Club Howie, and Howard Stern was wearing a bald cap. He was talking really fucking weird, like this big jag off, and he was just wearing these super short shorts. And there was a point he bent over to the camera, and the shorts were so short that you saw his butt cheeks, and he's just like slapping his ass like he don't care. It's so fucked up. And that was the 90s, man. That's what's crazy. That was the
you're,
fucking 90s.
you're not,
That's what we sit here and we keep saying we love the 90s. We want the 90s back, but then fuck, dude, that's what was going on. Like that weird shit was going on, and now it's like, I don't know, kind of blessed now that like people get so offended by that shit, and now it's not there, because like now that I think about it, it's just like, dude, that's really weird that you
I mean,
did that, and it's even weirder that guy's talking about how people have fucking sexually abused him throughout his career in Hollywood, and it's like, wait,
I mean,
the 90s.
again, his last name is Stern.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not helping the case when you got all these
What do you
people.
say about Kevin Spacey, though? Yeah,
Kevin
Spacey's one.
Spacey was just a fucking weirdo. But, I mean, he paid off his people and they didn't care.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the problem. I mean, if you've got enough money, you can, like, with the rest of everything else that goes on, you can pay people to shut up. And people will take that money and just deal with it. I mean, if that's what they need to deal with that trauma, but it's not, it's just helping perpetuate the issue. Because that means that as long as I have a bunch of money, I can do whatever I want.
Right.
So,
Well, what I will say is we trailed off from those videos quite a
yeah.
bit. That's fine. That's a great show we had here today. I think we'll end it on that note.
Yeah.
But everybody, remember, it's Halloween. Make sure you're checking on your kids. Make sure they're not up to fucked up shit. Make sure you're checking their candy. Make sure they're not like eating razor blades. I don't know if people spike candy still. Make sure make sure they know not to jump in a white van with a guy that's got a bunch of candy. Just the basics, people. Back to the basics here. So. But with that said, remember, you always check out www.tellitrightpodcast.com. Check out our merch page. See if got announcements. Get up to date. Check out the podcast. Just make sure you're subscribed and you'll get all the latest episodes, everybody. It's just that fucking simple. It is that simple.
It is. It truly is.
So, but thank you for joining us for 86. Happy Halloween. We'll see you next time. We'll see you for 87. Peace.
Peace.
Tell It Right Podcast.